Okay, so everybody stand up. We're gonna continue worshiping. Here we go. Unsteady through emotions, I can be so up and down. Trying to find my focus when my mind is spinning around. Maybe I don't need to know how we gonna work it out. Gotta put my faith in him, trusting that I'll turn it around. If you know who I know then, oh, you never ever had to chase what the world could give. Cause if you know, you know. If you know who I know then, oh, you never ever have to fear. Cause he's on your side. So if you know, doesn't matter where I end up, as long as I'm still with you. In every situation, God, you've always seen me through. Maybe what's impossible only seems a way for now. Gotta put my faith in him, trusting that I'll turn it around again. If you know who I know then, oh, you never ever have to fear what the world could give. Cause if you know, you know. If you know who I know then, oh, you never ever have to chase. Cause he's on your side. So if you know, you know. Then you know. If you know who your father is, if you know how his son is, if you know, yeah, you're gonna win.
Cause if you know, you know.
Who your father is, how his son is, if you know, yeah, you're gonna win. Yeah, you're gonna win. Oh, yeah. So we're gonna worship some more. So if you wanna lift your hands and close your eyes, you can. Here we go. God our Father, God our strength, Holy Creator, you hear my call. God our healer, Lord our strength, loving kindness is your embrace. Wonderful Counselor, mighty God, Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, everlasting Father, is who you are. Jesus, friend of all flesh, tell your life that I might faithful shepherd of my soul, Savior, you make me whole. Wonderful Counselor, mighty God, Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, everlasting Father, is who you are, who you are. Holy Spirit, comforter. Your eyes are filled with laughter. You are wisdom, you are life, my every need, you suffice. Wonderful Counselor, mighty God, Prince of Peace, Emmanuel, everlasting Father, is who you are. You're my friend, you're my Father, mighty God, holy, holy Lord of all, holy, holy Lord of all, worthy, worthy Lord of all. Worthy, worthy, Lord of all.
Boys and girls, we've been, every week when we've had a different fruit of the Spirit online, we've had a different kind of fruit. And today our fruit is bananas. And you've all got a banana. We're going to play a game in a couple of minutes with Pastor Carlos. But I've got a bunch of bananas here in my hand. Have you ever noticed how bananas always stick together? Nobody ever buys just one banana. And from the moment they grow on the vine to the moment that you pick one to eat, bananas remain close. They're faithful to one another. And it's because God made them that way. He made bananas to grow in clusters, in bunches. You know, faithfulness means sticking by the people we love. It means worshiping God and God alone. It means that when we say we're going to do something, we do it. And we don't give up, we don't quit, and we don't walk away. If we give our word, boys and girls, we see it through. And we saw such great faithfulness when we watched that video about Jonathan and David. We saw a faithful friendship. And I just want to look back at that Bible story for a couple of minutes. And you know, boys and girls, in 1 Samuel, in the book 1 Samuel, in chapter 18, 19, and 20, we can learn about the friendship and the adventures of Jonathan and David. They were true friends that were faithful to each other, even in difficult circumstances. You know, sometimes being a faithful friend means that you're willing to give up on your own valuable things for your friend. And Jonathan, you can read about it in 1 Samuel chapter 18. When Jonathan met David, he loved David. He admired him. He wanted to be friends. And he gave David his sword, his tunic, and his shield. And not only did he give up those possessions from the wars and the battles he was fighting in, but he also gave up his right to the position of being the next king of Israel. You see, Jonathan's father was King Saul. And King Saul wanted his son to follow him and be the next king. And if you have your bubbles right now, can you put them away? Because that's not bubble time, okay? And so Jonathan actually let David take his place to be king. And I want to tell you something incredible that happened. You see, we learned in the story how David killed Goliath when he was a young man, he was a teenager. And he saved Israel. He saved King Saul. And after David killed Goliath, he actually fought in many, many battles. He became a warrior in King Saul's army. Well, he was so successful in winning battles that he gained fame. He became very famous. And people started to cheer David on and want David to be their hero. And they weren't cheering King Saul on. And you know, King Saul was a very angry king. He was a jealous king. He had a lot of hatred and bitterness in his heart. And when he saw this, his hatred turned to a murderous spirit. He wanted to murder David. He wanted David to be killed. And so he gathered some men and his son Jonathan, and he plotted to kill David. But there was only one problem that King Saul didn't realize. He didn't realize how faithful a friend Jonathan, his son, was to David. He didn't factor that into his plan. Do you know that Jonathan knew what his father, King Saul, was doing was wrong? And Jonathan was a faithful friend. He went to David and he told him to go out in the fields and hide. And then Jonathan went to his father and he convinced his father not to kill David, not to do that, and reminded his father that David had killed Goliath and he saved Israel, he had saved King Saul, and he didn't deserve to be killed. You know what? King Saul listened to his son his son Jonathan. And so, boys and girls, we see in this story this great friendship between Jonathan and David, that faithfulness means sticking by another person through the hard times, not just in the easy times. Boys and girls, I don't know if you have a favorite sports team that you like to cheer for, but most sports teams have fans, right? But there's a really great kind of a fan, and then there's the worst kind of fan. The worst kind of sports fan is a sports fan that's called a bandwagon fan. Those are the people who just jump on the bandwagon. They just follow the crowd, and they only cheer for the winning team. And next season, they change their team, and they cheer for the next winning team. And they're not faithful to a team to cheer for them through season after season. But the best kind of sports fan is a true fan. They cheer on and support their team, whether the team is good or bad. They stick with the team no matter what. And it's hard sometimes to watch your team lose. And your friends that cheer for other teams are gloating and bragging. Oh, your team lost, my team won, ha ha ha. That's hard. But if you're a true fan, you stick with your team and you say, maybe next year. And when they finally take home the big win, you're even more happy, celebrating. It's a sweet, sweet victory. Boys and girls, Faithfulness to God is kind of like being that true fan. Faithfulness to our friends is like being a true fan. We don't follow the crowd, and we follow Jesus. We say no to sin and temptation, and we follow God's word.
I carried a burden for too long on my own. I wasn't created to bear it alone. I hear your invitation to let it all go. Yeah, I see it now, I'm laying it down, and I know I need you now. I run to the Father, I fall in the grave. I'm done with the hiding, the reason away. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a flame. So I went to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, oh, oh. You saw my condition, had a plan from the start. Your son for redemption, the price for my heart. And I don't have the context for that kind of love. I'm right here now, I'm laying it down, and I know I need you now. I run to the Father, I fall in the grave. I'm done with the hiding, the reason away. My heart needs a surgeon, my soul needs a praise. So I run to the Father again and again and again and again. Oh, 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 again and again. Oh, oh, oh. My heart is in your sight, long before my birth went, running into your arms is running to life from death. And I feel this world